Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Atalia. This is the first video for my channel, which is a little bit exciting. I am definitely a bookworm. I hope you are too. I'm an aspiring author working on the first draft of my first ever novel, but I've been writing since I was a really little girl. Hoping that I can have at least into the second draft finished by the end of this year. I thought that for this video we'd recap what I have read for the month of June 2026. I've finished up 4 books at the moment. I've started another one, but we won't talk about that one in this video since I haven't finished and I don't think I'll finish by the end of this month. So the first one I think I'll start with, which I've already released a little reel on YouTube for and a few little videos on TikTok and Instagram for, is Assistant to the Villain by Nicole Maehrar. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. This is her lovely book. I have a bit of a controversial opinion about it, I think. Before I read it, I heard a lot of good things. People seemed to be very obsessed with it. In the middle of reading the book, I found out that the author, Hannah, was approached by a publishing company about writing a book because she was doing skits on TikTok about the 2 main characters and their quirky, interesting relationship together. I missed the boat on those skits, so I didn't actually see them before reading the book. I didn't know that was a thing. And I think that maybe that might be why I didn't quite get into it the way a lot of other people have. I think that the premise of the book was really fun and interesting. It definitely gave me Disney villain vibes. And I loved the idea of the world that was presented to me, but I really love a lot of world building. And I don't feel like we got a lot of that in this book. We kind of skipped over a couple different things. We didn't get a lot of descriptions. I felt like the book kind of threw us in at an odd point. I remember that she was walking through a forest that was well known to house the villain in the book, and we didn't really get a reason why. She just decided to walk in there and she wasn't afraid, which I thought was a little bit odd. And then at the very beginning of the book, it skips 5 months ahead after she obviously agrees to become the villain's assistant. And that to me was kind of sad, actually. I really wish that we had had those 5 months with the characters for them to get to know each other and figure out where they stood with each other. I think it was a great opportunity for a lot of banter as they got used to that new environment and dynamic. But yeah, they kind of skipped right past that one and then continued on with the story. I think as well, like I said before, it's very Disney villain-esque, where he's kind of a bad guy, but he's also not really. And I'm not a big fan of that. I think if they're a villain, they should be a villain. There's a few instances where the villain doesn't really go after anyone or hurt anyone after they've kind of betrayed him a bit. And I thought that was very odd. At the end of the book too, I think that the ending itself was a bit predictable. What happened right before the ending wasn't. I did struggle to get through this one quite a bit, but my friend encouraged me to continue and said that it did get more interesting as you traveled through till the end, and she was right. It did get more interesting. I do already have book 2 and 3, so I am going to continue the series, and I'm really hoping it can redeem itself on that front. I can see the vision and I really like the premise of the story, but there were a few bits in there that I felt like were missing in regards to what I enjoy in a book. I'd really love to hear what everyone else thinks in regards to that. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I've seen a lot of really positive things about the book, and I do wonder if the majority of people who really enjoyed the book also had seen the skits that the author did on TikTok. Because like I said, I haven't seen them, and I think that maybe if I had, it would have built up a lot more knowledge in regards to the way the two main characters worked together, and just their relationship as a whole. Because throughout the book, I felt kind of disconnected from them and not super interested in their relationship. So I'm curious to see if you loved the book, and if you did you watch the skits before you read the book? The other 3 books that I've also read this month, all of these books were read on my Kindle. One of them was also an audiobook that I was listening to through Spotify, but I read some of it on my Kindle and listened to some of it on Spotify. So the first one was This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me. I can't remember the author's name. I think it was Ilona something, but I will put all of the titles up on the screen so you can see the covers and the authors as well. Make it very clear about what books I am talking about. So This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me. I actually really liked this one. It had a lot of descriptions and world building, which I personally love. I do think there was a little bit too much description at times, because the author would go into describing more than one person's full attire, which I think was a little bit much. You know, you could get a little bit bored having to read through that, but I still read through it. All of the rest, though, I really loved. I think that although the relationship that developed between the main character and the love interest was a bit odd in ways, that it still really drew me in, and I was very intrigued. I think it's one of those like vibey ones for this one. It's just like, it's the vibes. It's not really how it actually played out. The end of the book too was a little bit predictable, but I was still all for it. I'm really excited for the next book to come out, and the concept of the whole book itself I found so interesting, is that she's thrown into this book and she's read book 1 and 2, but book 3 was never finished, and the author is a mystery and you don't know who they are. So I personally have a theory that somehow the author is in the book with her too. I can't wait to find out if that's right or not. But yeah, so she's thrown into this favorite book series of hers, and she's got all this knowledge because she's read the first 2 books so many times, that she kind of uses that knowledge to try and survive in this quite brutal kingdom that she's been thrust into. And yeah, I feel like that's very unique. I've never read a book with that kind of a premise before. And yeah, like I said before, the romance, I was kind of all for it regardless. And I really did like the descriptive elements throughout the book, so that I felt really engrossed in the world. I'm super keen for the next one to come out. Moving on to the third book that I've read this month, it was The Caretaker by Marcus Kliewer. I read his first book when it came out, his debut novel, and I really loved that one too. I think with Marcus though, you do have to be ready to be left questioning things. In both of his books that I've read now, you're left questioning things. You just don't get all of your questions answered, which I can see how that's really disappointing and can be upsetting, but I kind of like it in a sense. I do also wish that he would cover those and let us know all of the answers to our questions, but it's not how he rolls. It just is what it is. I think for this book, it's really a cool concept. She's hired to be a caretaker of a home, and you start to get a bit of suspicions as we go along. You're like, oh, what's really going on? Gets creepy. He's a fabulous writer in regards to really engrossing you into that creepy atmosphere and making you feel like you're in it and scared. You get chills down your back, your hair on your arm raises up. And the concept of the book itself was really cool. I think that I do wish, like I said before, to a degree, that there are questions in the book that I wish had been answered. The ending was not one that I expected at all, and I do wish that the main character did develop a little bit more as she went throughout the book, but she was kind of stuck in her own grief, I would say, and probably depression, and she didn't really evolve very much as a character. I still think that played into the book reasonably well. I definitely recommend that you give it a go, but you do have to be ready to finish the book with those questions and to not expect the main character to really change a lot. But still, it was a fabulous read. He's a very, very good writer. And then on to our last one, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I loved this book. I don't know about you, but Hawk is my new book boyfriend. I love him. I did read this series a couple of years ago. I read up to book 4 and I was waiting for book 5 to come out. And as I got distracted by other books, I kind of forgot about the series, which now blows my mind. It's absolutely crazy that I completely forgot about it because it's quite good. I loved the world building for this one too, kind of sussing out the magic. The Ascended are a really interesting idea, as well as the Atlanteans. And I love seeing the progress through the book with Poppy. She really evolved as a character and you watched her do so. She kind of began to understand her situation a little bit more and kind of begin to figure out what she wanted for herself. And she kind of started to fight a little bit in big and small ways as much as she could, even if she knew it really wouldn't make a difference. And I think that that's kind of beautiful. It's like, do all you can when you're in this horrible situation to kind of have that little bit of freedom. I would definitely recommend it. The ending of the book surprised me. It surprised me in the sense, though, that it wasn't super climactic. It was cute, kind of. That's all I'll say. I'd definitely recommend you give it a go. I'm going to read through all the 4 books that I have at the moment. A little birdie did tell me that book 7 is coming out at the end of the year, but the date for it hasn't been announced yet. So I'm really hoping that I can get through all 6 books before the 7th comes out, and then I can read the 7th if I get through them all, I suppose. So far, so good, and I remember really loving all the way through to the 4th book, but I suppose it can be difficult for a writer to be able to keep it really interesting for readers through a whole 7 books. 7 books is a lot. So it'll be really interesting to see if I make it all the way to the end and I'm still loving it just as much. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in regards to all of the books that I've read this month. I thought that pretty much all of them were really good. Assistant to the Villain, like I said, I think that the concept was really cool, and I'm going to try and go through to book 2 and 3. I'm hoping that it can get a bit of redemption if you would, and kind of draw me in a little bit more. Like I said, I do think that maybe I've just missed a big step there since I didn't see the skits that the author did, but I am willing to continue on and give it more of a go before DNFing it. Definitely. And then next month I have a couple of books lined up at the moment. I'm a part of a book club. I'm waiting for us to have that meeting, and one of the members will be picking the book for next month. It's not me this time. I'm next month after that, which will be August. I'll be picking the book in August, so we'll see what happens there. And then I am currently reading Kingdom of the Wicked, which I'm actually really enjoying so far. I'm only about halfway through, I think, but it's definitely drawn me in. I think that it's a fun concept, and I'm sure there's lots of books out there that are like it or kind of like it, but I haven't read a book like it at the moment. So I'm interested to see how it ends, and I know that there's at least another 2 books, which could be fun. And I've definitely heard some good things about Wrath, especially on Plot Twist Please, the podcast. I love listening to those guys. They're the ones that actually got me onto this book series. In the future, I might look at keeping you guys updated as I read different series. If you're interested in me doing a video about From Blood and Ash, the series, and kind of taking you step by step as I read through all of those books, I'll make a video for all of them together so we can pick it apart and live through it as a team. I'm also trying to figure out what will be my next read. I'm going to release a post really soon. It might already be out by the time I release this video in regards to my TBR and what you guys think I should read next. Because once I've finished Kingdom of the Wicked, I'm hopeless at choosing. I'm absolutely hopeless. There's just too many good options. So if you guys could help, props to you. That'd be amazing. All right, I'll sign off there. I can't wait to talk to you guys again soon. Hit that like button and subscribe if you liked this video. Let me know what you guys would like to hear about. I might also do some videos in the future in regards to my writing, as per my bio. In the beginning of this episode, I'm also an aspiring author, so I could maybe let you guys into my routine in regards to writing and maybe a little bit about what it's about. I call this one Project Luna, which I think is really cute. Anyway, you guys have a fabulous day and look after each other. I will see you on the next video.